I'm from Montgomery County. Mr. Chair, I would like to nominate, and members, I would like to nominate someone from my home county of Montgomery. This man is intelligent, compassionate, humble, and he's dedicated his life to the pursuit of liberty in Pennsylvania. It's my honor to nominate Mr. Ken Krawchuk for governor.
Mr. Krawchuk, do you accept the nomination for governor?
I would be honored and proud. Seconds.
I move to close nominations.
Second.
Wait a second.
You don't need a second.
Oh, no, sorry.
Don't need one.
Seconds aren't required.
I have a second. Ask for a second.
There doesn't need to be.
I don't care.
It's not, it's not
If someone
smart,
wants
but
to,
we
I
can.
Someone
can.
wants.
Oh,
Ask.
Anybody else? Are there any other nominations for governor?
Point of information,
Yeah.
Mr. Krawchuk says he has a seconder, so I think it would be permissible to allow his seconder to speak.
Okay.
Chair, I would-
We do not need a second for nomination.
Doesn't need one, but he has one.
If you'd like to speak, go ahead.
I'm Josiah Strickland, and Chair, I would like to nominate Ken Krawchuk again to be governor. There you go.
Do we have any other nominations for governor? I do not hear any. So motion, well, I did hear a motion. Who made the motion to close nominations?
I'll second.
Steve? Any, all in favor of closing nominations for governor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? If you would like to take a minute to introduce yourself again, if nobody has.
What about Noda?
No, it is on the table.
Yeah.
Mr. Krawchuk has not gotten our nomination as yet. We will still vote on his nomination. We'll give Mr. Krawchuk a few moments to speak, and then we'll have some questions and answers, and then we'll vote on the nomination.
Thank you. Thank you for the nomination. I'm ready. I'm willing. I've got a great campaign manager in Mark Pisanko. Definitely could not do this without him. You know who I am. I've been around a long time. My mission right here is to take any questions you may have to help make your decision. Your note is really strong. Yes, Chuck.
Will you have Libertarian branding on all your yard signs and campaign materials and so forth?
Absolutely. It's always the first word. Those of you who have been watching my Wednesday night live streams, every Wednesday on Facebook at 8 p.m., I start off, Ken Krawchuk, Libertarian for Pennsylvania Governor. Always. Purpose of this is not Ken. The purpose of this is the Libertarian Party. Pennsylvania deserves freedom. Richard. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, the last couple of times we've tried to run a candidate for governor, we've had trouble getting on the ballot. Are you going to be able to get on the ballot?
One of the real travesties in Pennsylvania is that our Constitution says all elections shall be free and equal. The last time I was on the ballot was in 2002. I had to collect 21,000 signatures. I eventually turned in 32,000 or more than that. Even though Governor Rendell only needed 2,000. Is that equal?
No.
Then it got worse. They started fining candidates who tried to get on the ballot and failed. They'd be kicked off for stupid reasons, like if somebody signed when they should have printed when they should have signed. And then once they get kicked off, they're getting fined.
Romanelli.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Ralph Nader in 2004 was the first one. He was fined $80,000. Carl Romanelli in 2006 was fined $80,000. 2008, we had a presidential candidate make it on the ballot, barely. 2010, we got this letter from the Republicans, an economic extortion letter saying, everybody must withdraw, or we're going to fine you. It's up to $100,000, by the way. So everybody withdrew. We have not had the moxie to climb that huge wall since. I stand here, the last third-party or independent candidate who's been on the ballot in Pennsylvania for governor. Fortunately, in 2016, I was plaintiff on a lawsuit, federal lawsuit, that attacked those fines, attacked those high signature requirement numbers. And we won.
That's what
So the fines are gone. My wife says I can run again. I'm not going to get divorced. Better yet, the signature requirements, the judge said, state legislature, you guys are crazy asking for that many. Knock the numbers down. If you don't, I'm going to pick a number. Well, they didn't. They tried to pass a law to raise the number. The judge says, the heck with you guys, it's now 5,000. Merely 2.5 times as many. Not 10 times as many. But you know, I'll take it. I'll take it. If we can get 2 congressional candidates on the ballot, that'll cover it. We got state reps. Mark, my campaign manager, Mark, is recruiting state rep. How many are we up to now?
Around 20.
We have about 20 state rep candidates. At 500 signatures apiece, do the math. 10,000. Of course, we're aiming for primary day. Best time to get signatures. So it looks like my goal, my personal goal, is to have all of our signatures before primary day. What we're going to do is hire paid petitioners, get on the ballot as soon as possible, so that once the primary comes and all the other candidates are getting coverage, we Libertarians are going to be right there alongside them because we're already going to be on the ballot. So Richard, to answer your question, are we going to get on the ballot? Hell yeah! PCF, I bagged your mic. I'd like to thank PCF for being here again. You guys rock.
Mr. Krawchuk, will you use the line item veto?
I would buy stock in Big Pen.
Mr. Krawchuk, what is taxation?
Theft.
Do you have a game plan for any access for debates?
Typically, in Pennsylvania, it's different from presidential, because there are private organizations that do it. League of Women Voters, the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters, people like that, and they set their own rules. But to give you a guideline, in 2004, there were 6 gubernatorial debates. I was invited to the first 4 of them. The first 2 were nationally broadcast, the next 2 statewide. The final 2 were in a couple of days before the election, one from the League of Women Voters, who was there second, and I forget who did the second one. But myself and the green guy, we were not invited because they said, no, we're down to the wire, and we were polling less than 5% at the time. And for the last couple, that's a reasonable number. But I fully expect the same thing to happen again. The League of Women Voters has always been very good to us. In fact, the first debate has already been scheduled. It's going to be on Monday, October 1st. And guess who's going to moderate? Alex Trebek. He's a Jeopardy host, in case you like me and don't watch TV. But one thing is cool about it. The Philadelphia Inquirer reported that, yeah, Alex is going to be the moderator, and it's going to have the Democrat and Republican, but they have not yet said if Libertarian Ken Krawchuk is going to be invited as well. So I'm already making press. And I expect to be there. The Inquirer knows I sell papers. Yes, Lou.
If invited to that debate, will you answer in the form of a question?
What was your question? Let's see. Yeah.
If you get access to that debate, will you rip up a dollar bill on live TV? Again.
Try and stop me. Yes.
Mr. Krawchuk, how do you plan on fixing the Pennsylvania state store mentality when it comes to cannabis?
Well, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, assuming I get the nomination. So let me hold on that. But generally speaking, I can sum it up in one sentence. My first day in office, I'm going to start the ball rolling to pardon every single nonviolent drug offender. War on drugs ends when I become governor.
Mr. Krawchuk.
Yes, sir.
If the federal government fails in its responsibility, will you, as the state governor, pick up the duty of advising us on which bathrooms to use?
It depends how badly you have to go. It's none of my business. And you know, personally, I think what's going to happen is we're going to wind up with men's, women's, and family bathrooms. That's how it's going to settle out, my guess.
Would you get the ball rolling to audit the Federal Reserve in Philadelphia?
I'm running for governor, not a federal office. I have no authority to implement any federal laws. In fact, no, it's a needful fort and building under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 20 or something like that. I forget the exact one. But no, it's not my building. I can't audit them. Sorry. I'd like to. Yes, Ed.
To cut off utilities they're building.
Although I am an Exelon shareholder, I do not have any control over how they handle their customer relations. And if I were to go in there and interfere with a private contract, you should throw me in jail.
Let me rephrase that. Like Utah, the law was passed to take utilities away from the NSA data center. If that law was passed in Pennsylvania to take away utilities from the Federal Reserve building, would you sign the law?
I will not sign any unconstitutional or illegal law. Again, I have no authority.
As governor, would you refuse to activate any National Guard unit to go overseas for war?
That is a great idea. We should keep the Pennsylvania National Guard in Pennsylvania for natural disasters, like what just hit the eastern part of the state as we're driving out here, our big nor'easter. I was out camping in Hurricane Agnes. I was a refugee. We should keep Pennsylvania's military in Pennsylvania.
Or in the United States?
Sure, we could help neighboring states.
Yeah, but I'm specifically saying to activate a unit to go fight for war overseas, outside the borders of the United States. Would you refuse to do
Correct.
that?
I would refuse to do that. I do not think it is our duty to fight federal wars, just like it's not our duty to enforce federal law.
No war has been declared since World War II.
That's right.
You know, so I mean, I see you have an end there. Congress of the United States hasn't declared war.
Correct.
But the National Guard units go overseas.
We shall see.
I think it's a shame.
Yep. You know, the courts are going to be overloaded. I'm going to be, right and left, I'm going to be challenging all of these status quo things that I feel are blatantly unconstitutional. You just read the Pennsylvania Constitution, it's very clear what we can and can't do. Things like Article 1, Section 21, right to bear arms shall not be questioned. I feel questionable. By the way, I could mention something about these recent school shootings. Everybody's beating the drum for more, beating the drum for more gun control. Do you know that there was a study done by Northeastern University up in Boston? They found that school shootings are at 1/4 the level they were 20 years ago. That means they've been doing this for the last 20 years. That they're still happening, you're never going to stop them all. It's impossible to stop them all. But what we're doing now is driving them down. So I don't see any reason to panic and just you know, the crisis du jour. My heart goes out to the victims and their families, but I think that the laws we have in place right now are more than sufficient, probably overly sufficient. Any other questions, please? Way in the back.
Mr. Krawchuk, do you know who is sponsoring the debate in October?
I read it, but my apologies, I don't recall.
I was just thinking if there's anything we can do if to pressure them if they make a bad decision.
Oh, we will, because in 2002, when the 5th debate came around, we had Greens and Libertarians in front of the Channel 6 in Philadelphia. Didn't do us any good, but still, we got to make our voices heard.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you accept cryptocurrency?
Yes.
And will you take Dash right now?
Well, let me clarify. This is on my website at kenk4pa.com. It clarifies it there. Since cryptocurrency is inherently anonymous, Pennsylvania law does not allow anonymous contributions. So while I personally accept cryptocurrency, my campaign does not. So I just wanted to make that distinction, because I don't want to get in trouble with the law. Otherwise, I'd have to turn your Bitcoin or whatever it is over to the state. That's
So
the
then,
last
you
thing.
would accept it as a personal gift?
Yes. No, take it away. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what cryptocurrency it was?
It says dash.org.
Why not Monero?
Okay.
I'll take it. You got Monero? Thank you. Yeah, John.
As the federal government holds hostage tax money, say from the federal taxes at the gas pumps, to force our state to uphold certain rules that they want in place. Did you tell the gas station we will use,
Hold that call.
we will use sheriff inquisition or whatever necessary, National Guard to prevent the federal government from collecting those taxes or doing any damage to the gas stations they refuse, when you as governor say we're not being held hostage for money you collected from our people?
The general question is, would I withhold federal gas tax money if they're trying to hold us hostage? Short answer is, there's already Pennsylvania law which has authorized those transfers. That we accepted the federal burden for the benefit of highway funds. So the law is on the books. If I were not to enforce the laws on the books, I'd be opening myself to impeachment. However, I'm all in favor of not accepting federal blackmail money. Federal money is like it's like drugs, addictive drugs. The drug dealer says, here, try some federal money, it won't hurt. Just a little. Next thing you know, have a little more. And then they pull the straight out and they gotcha. You're addicted to federal money. Oh, so you want more money, huh? Drop your blood alcohol level for DUIs, drop it to 0.08, huh? No. And they do one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. It's economic blackmail. I would not be a party to any kind of federal blackmail like that. We're a republic. We should be running our own business. And I could talk about the economic inefficiency of accepting federal dollars. Do you know what happens when...
Mr. Krawchuk, due to our time constraints with PC, and I think we should move along to calling the questions.
I would certainly be amenable to that. In general, if you have any questions, you know where I stand. I believe that you have the right to live your life your way without interference, provided only you respect the rights and property of others. I believe in the political golden rule. Thank you for your nomination. I ask you, please vote Ken Krawchuk, Libertarian for Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Well, since we have one candidate on our ballot for nomination for governor. NODA is always the other option. So I'm going to ask for a show of hands, if you would. All in favor of Ken Krawchuk for governor, for nomination for governor of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? Show of hands. That looks like a lot of you. How about NODAs? Well, it looks like the eye of the, you are our nomination. If you want to.
I'd be happy to.
You got my vote.
Don't knock over the phone. Thank you. Thank you. Hey,
Mike.
thank you. Wait, Drew, where's my teleprompter? I don't get one.
No, you don't get one.
I'm gonna have to say what I think and feel?
Yes.
What kind of political party is this?
Last one.
All right, I'm a Toastmaster. I can handle it. Here we go. You know, I love Pennsylvania. Absolutely love it. I love the majestic solitude of the Appalachian Trail, where I'm heading out in about 8 days from now. I love the heart-thumping excitement of doing the white water on the Lehigh, Youghiogheny, Susquehanna. I love the majesty of our cities. Thank you very much, Ed. I believe in the American dream, where you have the right to live your life your way, where you have the opportunity to make yourself as great as you can, where you can, where any kid can grow up and be president or governor. I call it the Pennsylvania dream. But you know, the Pennsylvania dream is in danger of turning into a nightmare. Pennsylvania is mired in crises, one after the other. And in the interest of time, let me just touch on two of them. Of course, the big one that's in the news right now is the opioid crisis. Overdoses are the leading cause of death, accidental death in America. In Pennsylvania, 3,500 people accidentally die every year from overdosing on opioids. Governor Wolf decided he was going to address this. You know how he did? He called an emergency. He says, for the next 90 days, we're going to relax regulations on EMTs, on emergency treatment. He had a libertarian solution. How about that? But it's only for 90 days. And those 90 days are already about half over. What's going to happen in another 45 days? All those people are going to start dying again. He's treating the symptoms, not the cause. We know what the cause is. Two main causes for all these accidental deaths. The first one is that people who are dying are mixing those opioids with other drugs, commonly available drugs. They don't know they're going to die. It's an accident. Second reason, probably more powerful reason, is that the drugs themselves are more powerful because they're street drugs. There's no quality control. So when you take those two things, no information about the drugs, no quality control, it's like bathtub gin from Prohibition. Virtually every death is an accidental death. And those accidents can be prevented. They can be prevented by ending the cause, not treating the symptoms like Governor Wolf is trying to do for 45 more days, but treating the cause. The cause is the fact that we have this war on drugs. Because there's a war on drugs, there's no quality control. The only gin they can get is bathtub gin. So when fentanyl or something like that is mixed into the drugs, they don't know it. It's like going to the States, they're going to get a case of beer, you open it up, take a swig, and it's grain alcohol. That's what's happening, and it's an accident. And they're just going to keep on dying. Oh yeah, and I'm taking a prescription medicine, and I'm drinking with it. You can't mix some things. My pharmacist tells me, Ken, don't drink with this. There's nobody telling them, don't drink with this. The reason why is because it's illegal to tell them. It's illegal to distribute it. The war on drugs is killing 3,500 Pennsylvanians a year. I'm going to end this war on drugs. I'm going to end the opioid crisis. I'm promising, my first day in office, I'm going to pardon all nonviolent drug offenders. We're going to get them help. We're not going to jail them. We're going to end this opioid crisis. One thing I forgot to mention, 80% of the people who are dying, they're minorities. War on drugs is pushing them. This war on drugs is racist. I'm not a racist. Part of the solution. So there's one crisis. Take care of that. There's so many more, but let me just touch on one more in the interest of time. And it's a crisis nobody is talking about. There's an elephant in the room. Big blue elephant. And no, it's not a Republican.
Fuck the police.
What do you think about the police? If you see one in your rearview mirror, does your heart start to race? If he turns on his lights, does your heart stop? Isn't it ironic how those lights are red, white, and blue? But I digress. And if he pulls you over, do you sit there shaking with fear? How many people are frightened in those situations? But the police are sworn to protect us. Why are we afraid of our protectors?
Because they're oppressors.
And they're...
That's about what I was about to get to. Do you know how many people the police killed in America last year? According to a nice spreadsheet that I got from the Washington Post, which I don't really trust as far as I can throw. But we'll start with those numbers. Last year, 996. Let's call it 1,000 people were killed by the police last year.
Killedbypolice.net, it's closer to 1,200.
1,200. 1,000? 1,200? There's a crisis here. There's a police crisis. I'm here today to declare not an opioid crisis, but a police crisis. We should not be afraid of our protectors.
How many was in Pennsylvania, though?
Pennsylvania came out to about 24 last year, which is, in my mind, about 24 too many. And some of them were unarmed.
One from my township was shot with a pellet. He had a pellet gun. The cop shot him in the neck with a rifle.
We have a police crisis. Now, what do we do? Now, there was a Mississippi legislator, somebody was talking about prohibition earlier, and he spoke about whiskey. People said, what do you think about whiskey? And he's famous for this speech. It's called the If by Whiskey speech. Well, if Noah Sweat, Representative Sweat, were here today, let me paraphrase what he said. He'd say, what do I think about the police? If you're talking about the impromptu doctor who delivers a baby back in a patrol car, if you're talking about the guardian angel who rescues us from the floodwaters, like Hurricane Agnes, if you're talking about the ordinary citizen who lays his life down on the line day after day, week after week to help us, then I'm in favor of the police. But if you're talking about the jerk who pulls you over because you're driving at the same speed as everybody else, if you're talking about the bully who treats innocent like the guilty, if you're talking about the killer who shoots a fleeing unarmed suspect in the back, then I'm against it. This is my stand, and I will not waive it. That's a paraphrase for Representative Sweat. And that's what we have in Pennsylvania. We have a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation, where we have our heroes on one hand, and we have our persecutors, to use your word, on the other hand. I'm a graduate of the Abington Township Citizens Police Academy, and I can tell you, police, their hearts are in the right place. They're friends. They try. I have huge respect for them, much more than I did in the 60s when I was on the other side of the barrel. So what do we do? I have a 3-step plan to end the police crisis. One of them involves changes to the law. Second one involves changes to the police operations. And the third one pertains to the public perception of the police. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go into them right now. Instead, I will be covering them on my Wednesday night broadcasts, 8 p.m. Wednesday night for the next several weeks. I'll do one at a time. I'll present them, and then I'll take questions on them. One for the law, one for the police, and one for the public. We'll be starting this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Facebook, Ken K4PA. And there's a link from the website, kenk4pa.com. I'm going to close with one thought. People say, Ken, I love your ideas. We should use that line item veto. We should end this police crisis. We should end this opioid crisis. We should end all these other crises Pennsylvania is facing. The economic crisis where taxes are up. More than 3 times the rate of inflation on that in 50 years. Ken, these are great ideas, but face it, you're not going to get elected. Wait a minute, I can get elected. Thanks to the 2 old parties. They've alienated so many voters that you know, historically speaking, this year we're expecting a turnout somewhere between 30 and 40%. If you crunch the numbers and add it all up, you'll find that all it takes to secure a Libertarian victory in 2018 is for us to attract the vote of 1 out of 8 voting-age Pennsylvanians. 1 out of 8 is all it takes. So you're sitting at a table with 8 people, and 7 of them say, ah, that guy Ken, he's crazy. And one of them says, no, Ken makes sense. That's all it takes. Actually, the number is closer to 1 out of 9. But 1 out of 9, it doesn't rhyme. Knock me off my horse. So there we have it. We can win. We can do it. But I can't do it alone. What I need your help. Please, go to my website, kenk4pa.com. Sign up for updates. Sign up as a volunteer. The more volunteers we have, the better. Contribute. Love the contribution. And the best kind is the recurring donation. $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you can afford. That way it makes it easier for us to plan ahead to see what we're going to do. And it's got to be you. You have to remember the mantra of the grassroots activist. Very easy to remember. 10 words, 2 letters apiece. If it is to be, it is up to us. Or, if you want to make it personal, if it is to me, if it is to be, it is up to me. And that rhymes too. So please, I'm asking you, support me, contribute, help me out. We got another, 7 months to go? Thank you very much. Please, don't forget to